Inside G of G Inc., the experiential staffing company changing how brands show up in the room. When Jennifer Hing founded G of G Inc. in Toronto in January 2009, she was not filling a gap in the market so much as creating a new standard for it. Within her first month of operation, she had assembled a roster of more than 100 promotional representatives and models across Canada. Within a few years, she had landed contracts with some of the most recognizable brands on the continent. Now, 16 years later, G of G Inc. operates out of offices in Toronto, New York, and San Diego, and is regarded as one of the most trusted names in experiential marketing staffing in North America. That arc is not accidental. It reflects a founder who understood from the beginning that the real product in experiential marketing is not the activation itself. It is the person standing in front of it. Hing grew up in Pickering, a suburb east of Toronto, and came of age in two worlds that don't usually intersect: competitive pageantry and academic rigor. She was crowned Miss Teen Globe in 2003, a title that brought modeling and acting agency offers. Rather than pursue either path exclusively, she enrolled at the University of Toronto and earned dual degrees while managing her promotional commitments. That combination of public presence and structured thinking shaped everything that followed. When she launched G of G Inc., she was not just entering the staffing industry. She was building a framework for how brands could connect with consumers through people who actually understood the room they were walking into. The company's early growth was rapid because the pitch was simple: give clients the best personalities, not just available bodies. From food and beverage to tech, automotive, and healthcare, G of G Inc. expanded its client base across industries by staying consistent on that single premise. G of G Inc. provides tailored staffing solutions for marketing campaigns at every scale. That means single in-store product demonstrations staffed by a trained brand ambassador on one end, and large cross-country experiential tours on the other. The company's capabilities extend well beyond ambassador placement. Clients can bring in photographers, DJs, hair and makeup artists, production assistants, and team leads, all sourced and vetted through the same quality filter. The breadth of that offering matters because experiential marketing has changed. Brands no longer need a smiling face at a table with a product sample. They need a coordinated team that can execute a brand story across dozens of touchpoints in a single event. G of G Inc. positions itself as the company that makes all of that possible without the client needing to source each piece separately. What distinguishes G of G Inc. from competitors is not just operational scope. It is the company's position on inclusive staffing, which has moved from a differentiating value to a core part of how campaigns are built. Hing has been direct about how the industry looked when she entered it. 15 years ago, experiential marketing teams were predominantly female, with limited emphasis on broader representation. The model was standard, but it was narrow. G of G Inc. began deliberately moving away from it, assembling teams that included men, women, and individuals across the LGBTQ+ spectrum, alongside diverse cultural and professional backgrounds. That shift was not just about optics. The company's argument is straightforward: when the people representing a brand actually reflect the audience that brand is trying to reach, the interaction works better. Attendees are more likely to engage, more likely to trust the message, and more likely to share the experience. G of G Inc. has applied that logic concretely. For LGBTQ+ focused campaigns, the company requires applicants to submit written statements describing their genuine connection to the community. That might mean identifying as a member, having close family or friends who are, or demonstrating meaningful advocacy. The requirement is not ceremonial. It is a vetting mechanism designed to ensure that brand ambassadors can engage with authenticity rather than performance. For healthcare and wellness activities, the same principle applies differently. Ambassadors are selected in part because they use the product or reflect the demographic most likely to benefit from it. The result, in the company's view, is that the message lands differently because the person delivering it is not detached from it. Managing inclusive staffing at scale across 2 countries requires more than a hiring philosophy. It requires infrastructure that holds that philosophy in place when the company's leadership is not in the room. G of G Inc. embeds its diversity and inclusion principles into all team communications and contractual correspondence. Every staff member, whether a full-time employee or a one-event contractor, receives the same expectations about professional conduct, equitable treatment, and representation. The standard does not change based on the size of the client or the visibility of the event. Megan Rogers, who joined the company in 2012 as a brand ambassador while completing degrees in business administration and marketing at Brock University, eventually moved into the Toronto corporate staff and has become a key figure in the company's operations. Her background as a working ambassador before joining the corporate side gives her a practical lens on what actually happens in the field, which informs how campaigns are prepared and executed. G&G Inc. tracks the performance of its diversity-driven campaigns through a combination of standard metrics and something harder to quantify. Foot traffic, social media engagement, hashtag usage, and digital conversation all factor in. But the company also pays attention to what happens after the event ends. When attendees approach brand ambassadors to say they felt seen or welcomed, or when someone sends an email days later to describe how an activation affected them personally, the company treats that as meaningful data. It signals something that a reach number cannot, that the experience is connected. That approach to measurement reflects a broader belief inside G&G Inc. that the value of experiential marketing is not just impressions. It is the depth of what those impressions mean to the person who had them. G&G Inc. has spent 17 years building toward a position where inclusive staffing is not a niche offering but an industry expectation. Hing has indicated that the company intends to pursue additional partnerships with brands and agencies focused on uplifting minority and underrepresented communities, treating those opportunities not as market segments to serve but as relationships to build. For companies evaluating experiential marketing partners, G&G Inc. makes a case that has become harder to ignore. The quality of a brand activation depends on the quality of the people running it. And the quality of those people depends on whether the company selecting them is doing the work to find the right ones. That is the argument Jennifer Hing has been making since 2009. It turns out the market was ready for it.